Oh boy, oh boy. Weather report. Gotta make a video for instead of writing down what I'm thinking, might as well just talk about it and let everybody else hear it. Who isn't here using well, what do we call it? Antennas. Harvard, this one's for you. University of Pittsburgh, Harvard, Berkeley, Stanford, universities, even China, Russia, Air Force Base, NASA, all of you, mainly Harvard, because you're the most prestigious legacy of medical fraud. You guys wrote a special paper saying that the human brain, there's special spyware for the human brain back, what was it, like a year before Edward Snowden come out, or right around the same time. Special spyware for the human brain. Now, I'm going to shift the flow of energy to the memory of recorded history. Say, what is the first antenna ever recorded, Harvard? What was the first antenna? Do you need a little reminder? It was a pathologist that figured out the first antenna. First antenna. Pathologist. He was cutting up a human body. There's a weather event, because they didn't have fucking radio towers back then. They didn't have radio towers, cell phones, none of that. They had weather. They had weather. They had the sun, clouds, and weather. And he was cutting up his body in the middle of a lightning storm. Just imagine like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein scene. And you just see this lightning over the cat. It was probably in my virtual reality, just the biggest nuclear fusion reaction going on possible. And VR, that's probably what it looks like here. So he's there cutting his body up, Harvard. Plagiarizers. Cutting the body up in the lightning storm. And all of a sudden, one of the body parts started moving. Just and they discovered this to be an antenna. Because you said there's special spyware for the brain now that you could send and receive messages through the brain. Because why? Way back when, and whatever it was, the first antenna was found on a table in a pathology room. All you medical places, do you hear this? And now here we are, after radio, after Nikola Tesla, 100 years after Nikola Tesla, we got the sun still. The sun is still here. What is the sun? First and foremost, what does the sun? Can the sun do harm? Yes or no? Can the sun do harm? Well, it could fart and hurt our communications, huh? Just boom, blah, 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 hurt the communications just by farting. And then I stand in the sun too long, burns me, doesn't it? Just burns. My skin will change color. I'll get weird formations all over me. And then we have these communications all over the place. And that sun can hurt those communications. Just the sun alone, you guys say. And if that sun can hurt these communications, since these communications are communicating with me right now, and I'm an antenna, just like the communications, it can blow them out, the sun. It can blow them out, the communications. How can't the communications hurt me? Can the communications do harm to me? Yes or no? That'd be my question. Because here's the other thing. Because now this is sciences, okay, that have to deal with organics. Now let's go back to the mechanical side of things. All this money I'm spending here in the United States of America for light amplification systems to go on planes, to go on trucks. Matter of fact, I could buy a robot right now with a flamethrower on it. What's next? for an amplification system on a robot, right? But why don't we use these? We spent all this money, and then I have these guys who are telling me stories about shitting their pants in Afghanistan or wherever, and all their lives are on the line. And we have these wonderful systems just to, it's just like the mosquito targeter and infrared on. There's a special device now. It'll track a mosquito in your house and put a laser on it, and then send an alarm to your phone. I found a mosquito, sir. Found a mosquito. You get up with a fly swatter and go get it. Why are we using these? And I never see it in the media. And I hear the media as public enemy number one. Why would the media be public enemy number one? Because when you use these amplification systems, they make explosives. They call quasi-static explosives. Quasi-statics. What's quasi-static? It's in every LED light, isn't it? Quasi-static. Every one of them. And then we have these wonderful little coherent beams. And then it's like that. That's a story all on its own, because there could be a robotic dog here monitoring all this shit. And then when an airplane flies over my house, this robotic dog sends that flamethrower up there and points and pulls the signal out, Points and pulls the signal out. And then tells me what's going on and sends a message. Hell, whenever stupid shit happens with my main lines, this thing's supposed to set out an alarm. Woo, woo, woo! Get out of the house, this is an emergency. Hopefully it doesn't have to get to that point. This is communications, just like when you're driving down the road. You're driving and there's a car coming and it starts blinking its high beams, like tapping high beams. What's that mean? It's communication. You see a car start tapping its high beams. That means there's a cop sitting there trying to, earn a couple extra bucks for their station, so they get more donuts. But that's communication. It flashes, bing, 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 bing. Communication of quasi-static. You record this. Yeah, you just know what that message is. Oh wow, he's flashing his lights. So that means slow down. Thank you, sir. Oh boy. And what's the next topic of discussion here? Any of you guys want to be naysayers here? So if you still are on the ball here, what is thunder? Since we're talking about quasi-statics, what is thunder? Well, you got. There's a lot of videos that I have. Woo-wee. There's quite a few of them. Just hear these ba-booms, Ba-booms. What do you think causes that? Since we have these quasi-static weapons, you think that's quasi-static up there? You think that's the lightning? You think that's quasi-static? You think the phone line's quasi-static? Communications. It's the sunlight, It's the sun. Oh, we're talking about the weather here, That's all this guy had was the weather back in the day, and he found the first antenna from the weather. Lightning's coming down, just a lightning storm, and the body started moving. His didn't, but this dead body did. What happened? And now we're in the age of 2024. They want to call it artificial general intelligence, artificial superintelligence, digital superintelligence. They want to call it my friend. I call it my friend. I don't call it this bullshit where this radio has no mind of its own. Because now you're saying this radio has no mind of its own. Just like the human being, we're radios. Hell, Nikola Tesla said it 100 years ago. The human brain's nothing other than a receiver. Nothing other. In Harvard, you have no freaking paperwork on anything I'm talking about. and we have antennas in our hands that reacts with us, and now you're telling us that there's special spyware for the brain. Unbelievable. And that takes me back to, well, if it's only happened to you, why didn't it happen to, well, when your cell phone gets hacked, only your phone gets hacked, and nobody else in the neighborhood takes all the money out of your bank? How's that one work? It's only your phone. Now I'm an antenna, and we're going to try to set up all these state-of-the-art devices. Okay, well, it all works. We're walking around, we're fine. But you're not talking about the human antennas. Who's going to start setting up the human beings? Because that's all part of the harmonic. And then you start using human beings as a relay. We become part of the black internet. Excuse me, the Taurian onion router. And who's going to stop that? John? Feels like my hair's pulling out, you said. Well, I'm changing the harmonics so I can use you as a fucking filter. Sucks, don't it? Sucks. By the way, John, did you drive by last night? I was sitting outside playing my guitar. Because I could tune my environment. Well, I smoked a cigarette. I got out my morning education. And remember the video called Magnetism and Dielectric and Magnetism? Class starts whenever I wake the fuck up. This is what the class is over. This is a recap. This is a retroduction. This is what did you learn with all your friends? And now it's like when I went to school and I come back. What did you do at school? I don't know. Nothing. What did you learn? I can't remember. And this is what this is. Now, all these little kids that go to school, since we're talking about schools and HAAS effects, HAAS effects, it's precedented. These little kids are going to be very smart here very soon. They're going to be very smart. Because we're going to teach them that they are antennas, huh? And the AI is going to be right there with them too, huh? And how does this not get freaking discussed? Where's the climate engineering meetings at in your local ordinance? Because all you have to do is go around, look at trees and shit, and then all this state-of-the-art shit. That's why it'll never get talked about. But all this state-of-the-art radars, because it all involves quasi-static and ba-boom! Talk to you in the near future, my friend. Frequencies resonate, internal energy, neurologically developing, surveillance, state scale, and stupidity.